Let us not dawdle, for there are grudges to settle, and new entries in the Dammer's Cron to right!
Howdy, howdy! Level here, and welcome to another tournament battle featuring ShetlandApache playing the Dwarfs versus the High Elves. And Shetland has a really fun build here. He has got Thorgrim, Grudgebearer, and a super elite Dowie build. So Thorgrim, this is a second time we've seen Shetland do this, which is really interesting. He has Great Book of Grudges for that great +9 melee attack, 55 meters, which is awesome, and the High King, so that if he gets beat down, he buffs everyone by 8 melee attack. So if you leave Thorgrim, he's going to buff everybody. If you attack Thorgrim, he's going to buff everybody. And he also has Stand Your Ground for this really elite build, and Oath of Vengeance for the -27 melee defense to anything he casts it on for 47 seconds, which is quite powerful. And he's got flanking him 2 Runesmiths with the Rune of Negation for 22% damage resistance, and the Master Rune of Wrath and Rune for the damage and the 48% slow. Now, for artillery, he has up front 2 bolt throwers. 1, 2, and 2 cannons to really get into those High Elves, and a super elite center. Peak Gate Guard, who do have that armor centering and magic attack, 54 melee attack, 47 melee defense, and are awesome. Hammers and the Grumbling Guard with the Vigor Aura, and he has 2 miners in the back just to defend these cannons. And lastly, but not least, he has 2 gyrocopters with brimstone guns for the harass. Very small elite army, and he's going up against the High Elves, who have Tyrion on foot. And Tyrion has pretty amazing stats. 77 melee attack, 72 melee defense, 470 weapon strength, armor piercing. He does have the Feint and Riposte, which is +27 melee defense, 22 physical resistance, and 26 melee attack to bring those all essentially over 100. He does have Stand Your Ground for the 27 melee defense and leadership, and Foe Seeker. And of course, he does get the martial prowess when his hit points are less than 50%. Front line of basic white lines are traced. They all have a chevron, and one has 2. And that's really all you need for this Dowie. Those Swordmasters of Hoeth, I think, are a great pick in this matchup. Although against this build they wouldn't have been. He does have 2 Illithimar chariots. They are armor. They're not armor piercing, but they have a bonus versus infantry of 24, and chariots are hard to deal with. And he has 2 casters. So he has a Mage of Life on a chariot with the Starwood Staff for the increased power reserves, the Book of Hoeth for the power recharge rate, and he has Earthblood, and every time he casts, he triggers a map-wide heal with Life Bloom. And the other caster is a Mage of Shadows. And this Mage of Shadows has the same kit: Starwood Staff, increased power reserves, and the Book of Hoeth to increase the power recharge rate. But he has Pit of Shades, which could be nasty against the Dowie, the Penumbral Pendulum, which will go down a straight line, and he has Enfeebling Foe, -27 melee defense and -27 melee attack if he wants to Alpha Strike something. And lastly, does have 3 units of archers. I think these are the cheapest ones, 475 gold. They only have 15 armor, but they can harass. So we'll get this on the go, and right away, you see that we're just going to stay back, and Shetland wants to just come up with his gyrocopters and see what's going on and find a target to harass early. And this is really... I just love the way that that Shetland plays. He's one of my favorite players to watch. This is a tournament game, and these are tournament legal builds that he's going. But already, he's going to pick out the Mage of Life, and he's already got him targeted, and he's gonna start shooting at him. So this really puts the High Elves on a clock. So he's already got some damage. Yep, they're going to take some shots back with the archers, but they don't do armor piercing. I think their armor piercing is very low, like 4, 3. So they don't do a lot of armor piercing. So they're going to do damage to the Dowie, but really, he's just going after this Mage of Life. Already, both gyros are getting some shots in. Is he going to do a bombing run there? No. And, you know, starting to pick him apart. He's already down a quarter of his health, and the gyrocopters aren't down that much. Now he's got a heal going. Earthblood, first Earthblood, just on himself. No, that's not hitting anybody else, which is a fantastic. And now here comes the Dowie artillery, starting to get into line. And this alignment, it's actually quite clever. If you can see, all the artillery cannons are far back, and they all reach about here. So this is actually a pretty nice alignment. So we've got already the artillery starting to fire, and now here's really interesting. What this has done is it's pulled apart this army. You can see this corridor that's been created, keeping these archers back to shoot the gyrocopters, and the gyrocopters have got this Mage of Life down to, you know, sort of 40% health, and really another Earthblood's going on, like 2 Earthbloods on just the Mage of Life himself. It's not hitting anybody else. And now got 100% focus on this set of chariots. Again, another, this is like a masterclass in focus. I just love this. So it's got everything focused on this Elithimar chariot, and it's still focused on that. And here, boom, Rune of Wrath and Ruin brings the speed down to 41. Going to be able to take some shots. He has the his elite units out front ready to fight. Still focusing down this Mage of Life down here, and we're just going to get more cannon shots. The miners are going out front to screen for the artillery rather, and now it's already routing. Now here comes the frontline engagement. Going to engage across here, just with all the elite troops, and we're going to start seeing the buff. Stand your grounds going down, and still everything's firing. Even this bolt thrower. These white liners are not going to be able to hold or be held back by the miners, but that's fine. Now, these guys have taken a bit of damage over here, the gyrocopters, but this Mage of Life is now, he's getting close, like he's not close to his healing cap, but comes down the Penumbral Pendulum, and this guy is down to 600 health. Boom. Okay, well, you got the hammers, but this Mage of Life is not long for this world. You can see we've got the Rune of Negation going down, and that Mage of Life is going 500 health. Now switch targets. Gonna go to this Elithimar chariot, try and get the second chariot off the field really quick, because it is almost dead. Got all the focus on that, and this Mage of Shadow still running around, but it's gonna go after that chariot. We've got the gyrocopters now are just gonna go after this Mage of Shadows. You can see still just getting into range, and we got a huge pit of shades right in the pocket. You know, this isn't doing a ton of damage, but this is getting the key units. But now, finally, these guys are sort of getting into range just now. And they're going to start shooting at the gyrocopters again. And gyrocopters are now going after the Mage of Shadows. You can see, everything's focused on the Mage of Shadow. Everything's focused on the Mage of Shadows. We're just trying to get after him. These white lines of chase are in the cookie jar. Not much you can do about that. This is an elite build. We've got the Grumbling Guard chasing down here. These hammers are handling the white lines of chase, really focusing on this Mage of Shadow. This Mage of Life has been able to rally and come back. I believe Shetland's going to see this. You know, we've got stuff coming in the map, but we've got these white lines of trace. Now these guys have come over here, and boom. Pushing off the Mage of Shadows, and he's probably going to switch to the Mage of Life here pretty soon, I think. And he's got another ability active. There's lots of fighting out front, but it's just this small pocket. You can see he's taking his cannons offline, just pushing them out, trying to get his miners in the way here. And now he's routed this wizard again, the Mage of Life, and he's going after this Mage of Shadows. This frontline engagement, just going one by one, taking a few shots from the archers, but you know, really Grumbling Guard's pushing him off. He's got sort of the main pocket here. He's got Rune of Negation going off again, and he's pushed off the Mage of Life. Now he's just focusing on the Mage of Shadows. He's going to escort this guy off the field, this guy off the field, and get that going. These miners are not going to do much against the White Lions or Tyrion, but Tyrion's got a bit beat up. Now these cannons are back online. We've got these guys out and off the field. Boom, now it's time to focus 100% on Tyrion and get shooting on him. And everyone's focused right on him. And you can see the damage starts coming in really nicely. Cannons right there. Oh my god, Tyrion out here like a cannon in the face. Oh my god, that was wonderful. All right, so we end that replay. Fantastic little build, really fun concept. You can see that, yeah, the miners, they did what they needed to do, just muck things up. But 68 kills for the hammer, 97 for the peak gate guard. They still have plenty of health. The grumbling guard were fine. Thorgrim was fine. He didn't need to use that ability. 2 runesmiths were fine. Now the cannons and bolt throwers are still around. He kept pulling his bolt throwers off, his cannons off, and tried to run away. And this focus, though, with the gyrocopters was fantastic. They got one chevron. They got a bit beat up, but you could see how really he separated that 8, 10, and 6. These guys could have been much more effective dealing with bolt throwers and cannons if they would have got onto them. And really, in the end, they didn't really stop the gyrocopters from doing their job against the Mage of Shadows and the Mage of Life. And the Mage of Life cast Earthblood. Is that a he or she? I never tell with the elves. On the whatever it is, 3 times. And, you know, the White Lions of Trace, I mean, they did what they do. But they took some shots coming in from the bolt throwers and the cannons. I don't know. I just thought this was a really, really fun build. The Lithomar chariots were focused down. One never even got in a single kill. The other had 2. You know, a really fun build by ShetlandApache. And something that I find extremely interesting, because I think this is a really tough matchup for the Dowie against the High Elves, because the High Elves have all the tools they need to deal with the Dowie. But this build, absolutely fantastic, and I'm loving seeing these Thorgrim builds where you got a choice: leave them alone and let them buff everything, or attack them and let them buff everything. It's interesting. That's an interesting use of that ability, which is more like a deterrent for an attack as opposed to anything. So it lets Thorgrim have free range. And, you know, this super elite build, only 14 units on the field, but really, really super fun. So hope you found that game interesting. Love to hear comments from you. Or have you been using these elite builds or anything like this? Have you been using Thorgrim in your builds? And what if you play the High Elves? How have you found the Dowie matchup? I mean, most High Elf players do find the Dowie matchup to be to their advantage, because in my experience it is. And how do you normally deal with gyrocopters, if you find any? So I'd love to hear from you in the comments. With that said, hope you found it interesting, and I will see you soon.